Hello out there in YouTube land. I'm really thankful that you guys are tuning in, and for those of you who are following along in my journey, I am in Virginia now. And I last, I guess, did a video in Mars Hill in North Carolina, and so I wanted to kind of update you as to my journey from there. And I put out a blog yesterday that kind of goes through that whole process, and I reckon I did put a couple of videos out since then too, haven't I? No, wait a minute. Yeah, Mars Hill was the last one. So, here's what happened then. So, I mapped my course, freeing myself of highways, up to Virginia. I was going to Clifton Forge first, where my sister Cindy lives. And she's the youngest and the closest to me in age, and also the closest to me geographically, so obviously I went there first. Now, initially when I started this, my intention was to do like the whole Blue Ridge Parkway, because I thought that would be like a cool thing to do. And so I, put together a little bucket list and added that to it. But I don't really have a bucket list. I just kind of make things up as I go. Now, after my 50 miles of riding in the rain on the Blue Ridge Parkway, I was kind of done. But, I kept seeing signs for it as I was heading toward Virginia, and the allure just got to me. So it's about 4 o'clock or so around Lindenville Falls, and I saw there was a campground there, and I had never been to Lindenville Falls, and I was going to get on the parkway there, but that section of it was closed. So even if I had gone for my high-minded idea of going the whole parkway, I wouldn't have been able to anyway, because there's a big chunk of it that wasn't open. So that's okay. I'm all right. Anyway, so eventually I did find a spot to get back on the parkway and rode around for a few more hours, and got to this beautiful lake where I stopped and had this half a burrito I had from the day before, had a little snack, and then went a little further and there was a campground, and went in and it said something about reservations and also something about 20 bucks. And I'm not really camping. I just kind of need a place to sleep sometime. I'm basically just homeless. So I'm not cooking out. I'm not going to use the grill. I'm going to literally hang up my hammock, get inside, and go to sleep pretty much. So there was also a sign there that said no picnicking, and I knew that I still had some food that probably not safe to have in an environment where bears are. So I wanted to eat that, and it said no picnicking at the campground, and so I just moved on and figured I'd find somewhere else down the road. And sure enough, just a little while down the road, there was a picnic ground, and it had like tons of tables. I had never seen a picnic ground with this many tables. It was really amazing. So I stopped there and ate my boiled peanuts, and then more storm clouds started rolling in, and I was like, I'm really not excited about riding through the night in a storm again on the parkway. And so I found myself a little place to just hang my hammock. I hung my tarp over it and stayed out of the rain, and it didn't really rain all that much, but it was nice to have that shelter. So the next morning I got up, got off the parkway around Blowing Rock, and headed on to Virginia, and had a great ride. It was really beautiful countryside, nice winding roads all through it, and I really tested me on the motorcycle, because when I have this, God, at least it must be 100 pounds of extra weight on it, it's a bit of a more challenge to maneuver. And my guitar, as I said before, is kind of a kite or a sail, and it just kind of knocks me back and forth across the road. So I play it really slow, and now that I'm in, what's it called, Stewart Pass, or Stewart's whatever. Now Vivian is all nice, and it's just me and the bike on these roads, and so it's kind of nice to have her just 535 pounds instead of over 600 pounds, because it gets a little heavy. And my nephew Silas was nice enough to give me a brand new helmet. Well, it's brand new to me, but it was a really nice helmet, a couple $100 worth of helmet back in the day. And my little $50 helmet I've been using is it works, I assume. I hope I never really have to use it, but the visor keeps coming off every now and then, and it's kind of a pain. So he gave me an upgrade, so that's been cool. Anyhow, so I'm in Virginia, cross over into Virginia, the first day of July, and it was almost Independence Day, and Independence was the first town I came through, and they have gas stations here called Liberty, so it was kind of cool to stop there and take some liberty and take a rest before heading on, when at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon the rain started again. And so I stayed out of the first batch of it, and I just sat there on the porch of this little gas station, and I could look out and I could just see these bands of rain all along the mountainsides, and looked at my radar to see where there were gaps. I can ride in the rain, but I'd rather not. So I made it another maybe about 45 minutes before it started. I got in the rain again, and my boots are getting soaked, and everything's getting soaked, and my gloves are soaked. But actually, now everything's getting soaked. I've got rain gear on, and it works fairly well. But the boots and gloves get really soaked when it's raining, and that's kind of a pain. And it pretty much rained on throughout the day. And there were like some little spots where I was able to pull over at another gas station to stay out of the rain for a while. I had a little coffee and something to eat. But that last leg of it, getting to Cindy's house, was, still a kind of a perpetual rain. And I saw on this one road, it's like 55-mile-per-hour limit, which I don't want to do in the rain. So I saw this little pavilion at the VA place, and so I pulled in there, and then a couple of the boys showed up for their some Legion, I forgot what it is now, the American Legion meeting, and they were kind enough to invite me in and give me a cold drink, and just talk all about the American Legion and the VA, and it was really cool to talk to them and enjoy that hospitality. And when the rain let up, I made the rest of it. And along this time, of course, my sister's asking, when are you going to be here? When are you going to be here? And that's just one of those questions I can't really give people, because I don't know how long it's really going to take me. Google Maps says it may take this long if you're in a car and you go the speed limit the whole time and you don't stop and you don't slow down. But I do all of those things, so I don't ever know how long it's going to take me. But they were leaving for choir practice, which was at 7 o'clock, and she wanted me to be there by the time they left, so she told me to hurry, and I was like, don't hurry. Hurry is not in my DNA anymore. So I did get there like 7:15 and got to give them both a hug, and they went on to choir practice, and I unpacked and stayed with them a couple of days. And they've got this great beautiful manse. If you don't know, my brother-in-law is a pastor for the Presbyterian Church, and the way they do it is they have a manse, which is a house where the pastor and his wife and family live. And so they have this 4-bedroom house, beautiful, beautiful house, great garden. I took a picture of her garden. One of the comments my sister had was, when you have a house this size, then you have to fill it with a bunch of stuff. And then when you move, you just got a bunch of stuff. In which I responded, I was really glad that I now live on a motorcycle and don't have a lot of stuff. So the next day, my sister Dawn, who lives about a little more than an hour by car north of her, in Stewart's Pass, Stewart something, wherever I am. She lives here, and so I took about a little over 2 hours to get here, because Virginia hasn't fully discovered cell phone service yet, and so GPS is kind of iffy sometimes. But my brother Barry, my brother-in-law, he has created this whole vast area of ponds and waterfalls outside their backyard. And so I've been hanging out here for the last few days, and it's really blissful just to enjoy this running water and all of the many frogs that they have here. There's just tons of frogs in here, and you're hearing them croak all day and night. And every now and then you see them, and they're just, really big. We have like tiny little tree frogs in Sarasota, and they have, the leopard frogs here, bullfrogs and stuff. And he's also got fish and a swimming pool. And that back there, my dad came up here a few years ago and built that with my 2 brother-in-laws. And then we've also got a little patio over here, which was a great place to set up my computer yesterday and do some writing on the blog that I mentioned before. And they got a little swimming hole over here. And this is where the kids came the other day on Saturday when I got here. We had a big cookout for the holiday, even though it was the day before, because everybody had to work on the next day. Well, some people did. And so it was great. I had like 2 of my nephews, 2 of my sisters, and then all their families, and so like 6 kids, and that a lot of them I'd never met before, and so I got to be a great uncle and meet my great nephews and nieces, and it's been nice. So now I'm just planning out the next leg of my journey, where I go from here. I have another host in Philo, Ohio. Man, I can't wait to get there. I was watching the video of this place today. Y'all are gonna just freak out. It's gonna be so amazing, so I hope you keep tuning in to these little update videos, and if you feel inclined, share them with people and say, hey, look what this knucklehead's doing. And then that would be great. And let's see. I'm trying to find a place in West Virginia to stop, because I've never really spent any time in West Virginia, and I'm learning country roads take me home, so I have to do that. So this morning was learning songs that have been playing in my head, like On the Road Again and Rocky Top, because I cannot get them out of my head, and I figured it was high time that I learn the words to them. So that's what I've been doing today, and building my repertoire. And I haven't played music much since my accident, so it feels good to get back in there and hit those strings again. And all is going pretty well. So I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to be leaving Virginia, but I'll definitely keep you all posted. And thank you all for watching my journey and commenting on it. If you have any ideas of places I should go between here and Indiana, or the rest of the country, or people who would like to hang out with me for a little bit and let me hang my hammock somewhere, that'd be fantastic. And it looks like after this I'm going to be going up to Michigan, I'm thinking, over to Wisconsin, to see a friend who lives over there near Minneapolis. And so I've never been to those 3 states, and so I get to knock those out, and that'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, all else is right with the world. I'm going to upload this video and take Vivian out for a little ride later and enjoy these beautiful Virginia mountains. I also had a friend say I need to comment more on the geography of the place, and I don't really know how to do that. There's white oaks and red oaks and clay. That's about all I know. See y'all, have a good one. Be sure to check out my blogs and stuff at stevemc.xyz. And if you're not following me on any social media, I am at Steve McAlphabet. And even if you want to sponsor me on Patreon and put some gas in my tank, that'd be really, really appreciated. And you get a lot of free stuff from all the stuff I did before I'm doing this. See ya.